Hi guys, happy Wednesday. Raquel, you brought up softball and you said that you didn't understand like really how it worked and stuff. And since you didn't ask how it worked and stuff, I'm gonna tell you how it works, at least for the state of Maine. I can't speak to how high school softball works in other states. I can only speak to it in Maine. So first of all, I coach high school softball. So high school ages are about 14 to 18, and there's four school classes in that: freshmen, sophomore, juniors, and seniors. So I am the head of our varsity softball, our whole softball program. I'm the head of it. So I coach the varsity team, which is my top athletes, and then I have a junior varsity or JV coach and team where I put usually younger players that need a little bit more time to develop their skills before they are able to join us at the varsity level. So varsity is more competitive. We're the ones that represent the school for like states and, like regional championships and state championships and stuff like that. We're the ones who we monitor the stats. We're more competitive. We're the ones that you read about in the paper. We get articles written up about our team, good, bad, otherwise. And let's see, our whole state, since Maine is pretty spread out, our population is pretty low. And so to accommodate for really small schools and really little schools, really small schools and really little schools, really small schools and really big schools, we split the whole state and all of the high schools into classes. So you have Class A, Class B, Class C, and Class D. Class C is your small schools. So like there's a population requirement that needs to be reached. We are Class A, so we are in the bigger schools, biggest schools. We're like a medium big school. And so because we're in a bigger school, we have more kids to choose from. So by that logic, our teams should be, more curated, maybe better skills than someone from maybe a D school who only has just enough to fill a field. Where this year, for my tryout sheet, I had 32 girls coming out for the softball program. And for me, running my program, I like to keep 12 on varsity and 12 on JV, because if you have too many girls, they miss out on practice times. They don't get those skills that need to be built up. So this year we were definitely going to make cuts. In the past, I really haven't had to make any cuts because we've been right around or just below my 24 goal number. So a typical season begins second to last week of March. We have our conditioning week where I can work out the players with, running and fitness and just overhand throwing. And I can also see my pitchers and see what they're able to throw, what their skills are. And then the week after that, we have our regular tryout week for actual positions and actual dividing everybody up. And that has to last at least 3 days. I have to at least see every girl during that tryout week for 3 days minimum before I can make my decision as a coach. I like to use the entire week because you never know who's intimidated, who just needs a minute, especially with my younger players that don't know me. It just gives them a little bit more time to get comfortable. And luckily with conditioning week, because no other spring sport has a conditioning week like softball and baseball do, I'm able to learn their names in an environment where they're not showing me their skills. They're just working out and getting ready for that following week, which is really helpful. And then at the end of that week, I split the teams up into varsity and JV. And that's when we pretty much split up and start doing our own separate practices to really refine skills. My JV coach is really good at building those skills that I am going to be looking for in their future for that next following season. She's really good about that. I really like our softball program. It's a lot of women coaches. My assistant coach and my JV coach were all around the same age. and we're just like, I feel like one of the youngest coaching staffs that we've encountered. There are definitely some other younger female coaches in our league. There's definitely been more women coaches being added in, but primarily up until the last 10 years probably, it's been mostly male dominant as far as coaching staff goes, like older male dominant coaching staffs. And I really like our program in that fact that I've really had a big hand in choosing and being able to work with my staff, and I think we're in a really good spot. So because I'm the head, I am the final decider. I get a lot of input from my coaching staff on who to keep and who to look for and what we're working on, but at the end of the day, I make that final call. I'm the one that parents get mad at when their athlete doesn't make the team that they think that they deserve. So that's always fun. So I took over the varsity program, or the whole program. I took it over in 2017. The year before that, I was the JV coach. And then the head coach retired, and he suggested that I apply to be the varsity coach, which I did, and I'm so glad I did. I really love having this program, and I love working with the girls, and I love just making it my own and kind of adding in those things that I wish that I had had as a softball athlete in high school. So I took it over in 2017, which means that this year with these seniors, so the girls that were in their final year of high school, this was their final softball season, and not a lot of athletes go on to play in college / university, whatever you guys want to call it. So a lot of these girls, this is pretty much their final year playing, or they might have a summer season, which has nothing to do with the high school and what I coach. So they were in their senior year. They have only ever known me as the varsity coach. I've coached, there were 5 returning who were on my varsity team that now I miss a year of being able to work with them. And I know the amount of work that they've put in the past. So I know, I can envision how much better they were going to be this year. That also means that I miss out working with my younger athletes to build them up to what I could envision their senior year looking like. So with that, it's very difficult. And because I've known them for their full high school careers, it's hard to have to say goodbye to them early and not being able to work with them for another go around. Yeah, so I think that kind of gives you an idea of what it looks like. We end up playing, I think that there are 16, or there were last year, there were 16 Class A schools in the north, because Maine is also split into north teams and south teams. And then you play all the north teams, and then for the state championship, you compete against the top school in the south. And each class has north and south, and we're in the north. Even though it's very, very vast, it's really, even though there's more space in the north, like more surface area, more area up north, we have less schools than the south because the population is so much more dense in the south. So yeah, that's kind of what it looks like. Our season runs, so we have the first 2 weeks, or the last 2 weeks in March, our tryouts. We play games would be starting this week. Our games would have started this past Monday, the 20th of April. And then regular season goes from what would have been the 20th of April to the very last day in May, which is the 31st, right? So until May 31st, and then playoffs would have started in the first week of June. So, yeah, I did not put that together actually until right this second, that we would have been at the very, very beginning of our opening season this week, and the weather would have been great for it. So this is a very long instructional, informative video. Hope you don't mind the length and the fact that it is not edited. I was going to use my camera, but it was giving me a flashing red. Whoops. Well, thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Go check out my vlog channel, and I'll meet you back here next Tuesday.